Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and today I'm going to be playing and reviewing Astro Rove by Shy Games. I wasn't originally planning on playing this. I was just going to review it, but then I realized I don't really have a ton of new things to say about this. A spoiler to my final thoughts, timestamps to everything down below, but the very short version is if you like Rove, this is more Rove with small differences to the system, but ultimately all the things that you might have enjoyed about Rove are here, all the things you disliked about Rove, if those things exist, are probably still here. This has minor differences between the systems. That's my kind of spoiler thoughts. My rating for this is a 4 out of 5. Similar to Rove, I like it. I think it's a fun, thinky solo game. I don't know if I'd recommend Rove over Aqua Rove over Astro Rove. They're all just different flavors of the same core premise. With that, before we dive into the gameplay, a few things to note. First of all, this is a prototype. All rules and components subject to change. Also, by the way, they are going to be doing boxes for the first time. Shy is converting 2 boxes. They are still going to have wallets in those boxes, but both for shelf space, more table presence, as well as more manufacturing. They're not going to be doing it all in-house in terms of assembling it all. They're going to now have small little boxes, which I guess is a perfect segue to the other thing. This channel is sponsored by Allplay. If you want a variety of small box games, from the small boxes to the tiny boxes to medium boxes and more, check out allplay.com for a variety of different games. With that, we're going to dive into this. This is a solo game. Our goal is to accomplish 7 missions over here. A mission means we have to have that kind of pattern in the grid, which means we're slowly going to be zooming out as we try to create them. This is decent enough. We have our hand of cards over here. Our hand of cards are the movements we can use. We're going to replenish 1 movement every time we complete a mission. That means on average, across the 7 missions, because we need to do 7 missions, we have to try to be averaging 1 card per mission in general, with 4 extra cards to spend across those 7 missions. So it's 1.5 cards per mission effectively. There are a few tips and tricks we have up our sleeve, but for right now, our focus is to create this pattern in the grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those 6 spots, specifically with this card and this card. We want to kind of get this card over here and then build the rest of the pattern around that. Now this game can be very thinky, so I'll tell you right now, I am not going to be playing to the most optimal I can. When I play this game solo, I overanalyze everything, so I might lose this game when I generally don't lose, but I also generally take way too much time trying to optimize that perfect turn. I will not be doing so here. So if I need to overspend and run out of cards, it is what it is. So, few small things. In general, cards don't really have an ability the way they normally did. Rather, at any point, you can flip a card, which puts another module of that color, which means eventually, if you flip them all, you'll be back to having 6 different modules, but that gives you a few get-out-of-jail-free cards as you go, because you can just flip a card, which will lose you a module. Like, if I flip this, I will have 2 green and no blue. But if I needed green in a particular spot, I do have that flexibility. So let's go and kind of show you what's going on. Also, I should note, you also get plus movement. So, for example, the current active mission shows that this pattern gets +1 movement. So this could be a 3 pattern movement right now. Now, if we already have this and this over here, if we got 1 up, so this will go 1 up, 2, 3, 4. That I could do this 1, 2, 3, 4 easily enough. That would be very easy. Also, you can swap cards with any modules. You can use these abilities to swap a card with any module as well when you play that. So would that help me at all? I don't think it necessarily would right now, because getting this in a particular position is not really super helpful. This can, let's see. So if we got 1 up here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, it doesn't help me, unfortunately. This can swap with that. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4 is really what we need. And I only have 3 movement right now. That's the tricky part. The part I'm trying to figure out. So I could just do this right away, which is not the craziest. I might do this because I also see that the next mission doesn't need it. So we're gonna start off by flipping this because I think I can do it. So we're gonna flip that to its other side. That already gives us these 2 in the positions we need. Then we're going to play this card, which gives us movement as far as we want in a straight line. Normally we get 2, we're gonna get 3 because that's the active mission. So we're going to then move this over here. That's gonna be 1 movement. We're gonna have 2 movement, and then we're going to have 3 movement, okay? That's going to be our structure. That's going to give us, I'm gonna have to zoom out already because I'm realizing that we are already taken apart from the grid. So already we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the pattern this card has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We unfortunately have 2 of these cards on the table already, so we're going to have to eventually get back the other missing suit over there. But this card is done. We're going to put it off to the side. We actually technically put the next card on top of it. We're going to take this card and put it on top of it, which gives us our next active mission and creates a little bit of a picture of what's going on. And now we're trying to create that space. This card is discarded, which we'll put into our discard pile, and then we draw the next card into our hand. Now the bad news is we are going to need that other one back, unfortunately. So we are going to have to flip this at some point in order to be able to get back, but that's fine. If we keep that there, we're not in the worst shape. The problem is we have this card right now as our next pattern. So we need to get this, let's see, move any module to be adjacent to that. That's not the worst. We have a +1 on this. So this is not a bad one to play. Let's just try to think this through. So we are trying to create a 4x4 grid, a 4x2 grid over here. We specifically want this at the bottom, which is not going to help us a ton if we move any module to be adjacent. So we want to get, this can go over here. We want this over here. Ah, my gosh, it's going to be tricky. If we put this over here, can I do this? So again, this is where I'm not going to min-max too much. If we have 4 movements, I'm just going to do this. We are going to slide this to go on top. That's movement 1. And we always have to have everything touching at all points. So that's movement 1. Again, we have 4 movements on this card. Then we are going to place this is going to be movement 2. Okay, so movement 2 is like that. We'll connect we'll move these a little off to the side so we can have that space. Movement 2. No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this. Does this work? Huh. If this goes there, we're going to take this card. And its movement 2 is going to be doing this ability. Move any module to be adjacent. So it's an adjacent spot over here. Then movement 2 is going to be this 2 over here. Movement 3 is going to be this 2 over here. And movement 4 is going to be this down here. Okay, we're going to center that on the screen again, but I think that got me everything I needed. Okay, that particular movement is those shapes as far as you want in a straight line. There are movements on my hand, you'll see. This one is moving 1. So that's move 1. This is move as far as you want in a straight line. So that card is done. We got our 4 movement because we used the bonus on the active mission card. We used the ability, move any model P adjacent to purple. So we are good on that. That goes in the discard pile. We get our next mission over here. And that's going to be our next mission, which is going to be hard to do. But we do get another movement card into our hand. And we are currently still getting a bonus on that one. So this could be a good one to do. But the problem is we are going to need to flip this in order to be able to get the brain symbol back. Otherwise, we cannot accomplish that. So this is going to be tricky to try to do. I don't know if we'll be able to do it effectively. We're trying to get this down here. Swap that with any module. Does that help me at all? I don't know how much it does. If we're trying to go swap that with any module. If we do decisions, because this to get down here is tricky. If we go 1, again, I'm not going to be overly tricky on this one. 1, 2. This is where I'm gonna have to spend another card. 3, 4. Okay, so that's a decent start. The problem is we have to do a few things. First of all, we have to flip this module, and additionally, we did not get enough movements out of it. So we are going to have to move 1 more, which is kind of annoying. We'll discard this because we spent all 4. This is where I'm not like min-maxing to the nth degree, and we'll discard another card. Which one of these do I want to discard? Move any module adjacent to. Well, let's looking at these. Blue is less relevant, so we're going to discard this one to go down 1, 2. We're using 2 of the movement. As soon as you complete a mission, you lose the card. Okay, so we did accomplish this mission set. We are down to 2 cards in a hand, by the way, though. There's also a difficulty settings to this, so you could play with fewer starting cards or more starting cards if you're trying to make it harder or easier. But anyways, we accomplished our mission set. So now we're going to add this next card to the grid over here, and then we're going to add a card to our hand. The good news is this card gives us a +1 to those movements, so these are likely what we're going to use this next set. But we are trying to make this work right now. We do want to get this down over here and this down over here. I think if we can already do that, this goes here. We might be able to do it offhand. Move any module to be adjacent or swap that with any module. So I think we're going to play this card because I think that's going to help us a lot. Swap that with any module. So if we swap this with here, that's not even part of our movement yet. And it already gives us the starting point of our grid, of our formation. So now we have 5 movements, 4 plus our 1 for matching the mission. And with that, we can go, we have to be careful how we do this. We're going to go 1. Okay, 1 over there. Then this will go 2. Okay, and then 3, 4. We technically have a 5th movement, but I do not think we need it. We should look at this over here. It is what it is. We're gonna have to make some changes. We're gonna have to swap this in. Oh, interesting. So when that's the case, we have to have this here. We don't have a choice. Okay, it is what it is. We are done with this. We accomplished this card. And that means we're going to get our next mission, mission 5. And then we're going to shuffle the discard pile and draw up a new card. Actually, if I recall correctly, you don't shuffle. Let me take a quick peek at the rules. You're not supposed to shuffle, I believe. Are you? Flip over the discard piles. Do not shuffle. Sorry, so I'm playing it slightly inaccurately in that case. We flip over the discard pile, and I draw this as my next card. So there is supposed to be an order there. I slightly messed up. I remembered as I was doing it, but it's too late at that point. So we are trying to build this shape over here. We have a +1 again on this card type, and move any module to be adjacent to that. So that is helpful because we are ultimately going to have to, because we lost our green, we're going to have to flip this to its other side, which, you know, it is what it is. And that's fine. We need a green in play. But that means we're going to now put this, if we put it down here, to be adjacent to that. We're trying to get this in the center. Interesting. Interesting. So if we're trying to have this in the center, then we could go 1, 2. Again, if we have 5 movement, this would be 1, 2. I'm just mentally doing this in my head. 3, 4, 5. I think that works. Okay, we're ready. So 1, that's going to be 1 movement. 2, 3. Then we're using the ability to move any module to be adjacent. That's going to be down here. I'm going to move everything up so you can see it. And we still have 4, 5. And then, am I doing this right? Oh, this only needed to go up 1. Didn't need to go up 2. And then 4, 3. So there's only 1 here. And then 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty sure I did that correctly. This is the downside. I have to walk it back. But I'm pretty sure I counted out the moves the correct way. I just added 1 here and removed 1 here. But I fixed that. And then that's going to give us our pattern. All right, mission card accomplished. This goes away. We used all 5 movement. A new card comes out for our next mission. And then we are going to this mission 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just need to do 2 more missions at this point, and then another card gets added to our hand, which this technically was our hand over here. We add this. Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Also, I got a cat possibly joining me right now, so let's see how this goes. Elfie, do you want to come to the table? Elfie, you want to come? You can come, or you can just trill. Anyways, so we got this over here. We are trying to get a green and a blue. So we want to get the green all the way to the blue. We do have a +1 with this, but I don't think it's going to necessarily help us. One of those times we might not. Again, this is where we do have some leeway to burn through cards. On the other hand, if we flip this, we get another blue. Does that help us? I don't know if it does. Well, we need a purple. We will need a purple. So we don't want to do that yet. Yeah. So we're going to try to get this. We need a green to the blue. Swap this, swap this, swap that. Does not help me. So let's see what we can do over here. If we get... We want these 2 and that. That's a good structure over here, which means this going up to the top will be 1. This going here 2. So we need 3, 4. 3, 4. So I think we are just going to ultimately use 1 extra at this point. I don't think it makes a big difference. I think we're going to spend this card. We're going to get 3 movement out of it. So we're going to go 1, like so, up there. We're going to go 2 is over here, I think. 2, like so. Then 3 is going to be 1, 2, 3. It's just 3, but it's a straight line as far as we want, diagonally. But then we have to move it down 1. So I'm going to shift this over so you can have all this on the screen. And then we have to give up an extra card in order to get that 1 more. So which one of these is more likely to be useful? This one is going to give us swapping with that. So I think that's more... Oh, no, but this is the right matching type. So we're going to discard this to get +1 movement over here. and then that gets discarded. Which means we now have our last and final mission, because that's accomplishes this grid over here. We have green, blue, double, and then double. And then that means we're going to now have one more mission card to go through. That's going to be this last mission card. If we accomplish 7 missions, we win the game. And then this goes to our hand. So we have 2 movement cards. It should be easy enough at this point. A lot of the game is just not burning through things too fast. And then you get to the end, and then you hopefully are able to, well, burn through 2 or 3 cards in the final turn, depending on how skilled you were. Anyways, or lucky for that matter. So we now are trying to get this particular grid. We have this over here and this over here. This one is swap that with any module. Do I care? Not particularly. Move any module to be adjacent to that. Do I care? Not particularly. But we do have 5 movements from this. And I do think getting this into position over here is a good thing. But it's tricky because of the way you have to get these cards going. We need to get this into position over here as well. So strictly speaking, if we go 1, I'm going to do this card first for 5 movement. 1, actually, I can swap this. Yeah, let's swap this. So we're going to swap this with any module. Yep, okay, that's that. Nope, wrong card, wrong card. That doesn't help me. It does not help me. I could swap this with that, but again, I don't think it necessarily helps me. I don't think it helps me strongly. Let me think about this. It might help me a little bit, because then I could put that there. Fine. We're going to swap this with that. Okay? There we go. Then we're going to the following. We're going to go 1 up here. We do have a cat joining us. Hey, Elfie. Say hi to everyone. So we're going to go 1 from here to here after doing the swap. Then 2 from here to here. Okay? Elfie, don't mess with me too much. 2. Then 3, 4. And I think that's good enough. I think that's everything. I think we did it with 4 without using our second card. So effectively, we now have the pattern is us on here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these 2 are the correct color. And that was done with this card, which means we are left with 1 card remaining, and we did it. We did our 7 missions. That's Astro Rove. That is how you play through Astro Rove. You're trying to create the mission structures. Again, there's some different rules as far as the movements you have access to, as far as the mission cards, as far as the flipping of the modules to be able to give you different modules. But the overall structure, if you are familiar, if you're new to the Rove system, this is a solo play of Astro Rove. If you are not new to the Rove system, there's still a solo play of Astro Rove, but you probably see some of the nuanced differences that make this different from other Rove games. So, review time. All of that. I enjoy the Rove system. I find it to be a fun little system of trying to optimize your way towards completing missions. There's various modules, various minis expansions. There's Rove Junior, there's Aqua Rove, there's Astro Rove, and regular Rove with a whole bunch of expansions. All of them give you a ton of different ways to approach the same thing. I think Rove Junior was my least favorite only because it was a little too much for my kids and yet a little too simple for me. So it fell into this weird space where it was the least compelling. All the other Rove systems I've enjoyed. Overall, I give these games a 4 out of 5. That is just as true for Astro Rove. They are very thinky, a little AP prone. The biggest criticism I have around it, honestly, you saw them in play, which is sometimes you are trying to optimize your way towards that perfect hand, especially if you're playing on hard mode. But then if you don't track things perfectly, you might spend a card and then be like, I want to reset and not really remember exactly where you are. There's even that one turn. There's one turn I took in this game that I'm 95% sure I backtracked the count correctly, but it's also possible that I didn't. That's the tricky part. And sometimes that does happen. I do find it's very AP prone, which is usually not a big deal because it's a solo game. You get to decide how much time you want to spend on a turn versus how much you just want to go with your gut and make it happen. On normal mode, you generally can go with your gut as long as you're still trying to optimize. On hard, I think you have to be more mindful about backtracking. That losing a single card really makes it very, very hard to get everything done by the end without having to perfectly plan every move. But I like it. If you like optimization solo puzzles, this is a fun system to check out. This is just a variation on that system. If you already have the Rove games and you're questioning, do I need this? Probably not. If you want it, you want it, but you definitely don't need this. Like, honestly, this is the kind of thing. Here's I guess, my opinion over here. If I played Astro Rove after a year of having not played Rove, and you didn't tell me it was a new game, we just sat down and played it, I might not even realize it was a different game. It's that kind of system. That's I find Aqua Rove, I think, had a bit more different to it. Astro Rove, but honestly, they're all very similar. They're all very, very similar systems. They're different flavors. But again, it's like if you like Ticket to Ride, you like Ticket to Ride Europe, you like Ticket to Ride Asia, they're all just different flavors. And these are at least tiny little small box different flavors as opposed to big boxes that fit on your shelf. Overall, if you like Rove, it's good. If this is your first entry to a Rove system, you can check this one out or any of the other ones. It is certainly not necessary to add, but It's still just more Rove. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Hope you found that playthrough useful, as well as the general thoughts that are kind of just like it's Rove. And as always, and until next time, I hope you have a good one.